I mean, clearly, as you would have detected, I guess, from my questioning thus far, I'm unhappy about the application. I mean, I know, obviously, in the report, the officers, and again, we use the word, I think, time and again, subjectively, suggest that this does comply with policies E1 and D4, and you know, doesn't change the character of the area to an unacceptable degree. I mean, my view is different, and I think it does. And progressively, we will see these things changing the character of an area even further. I mean, coming back to the parking issue, which you so eloquently analysed there, Chair, I mean, in regard to the SPD and the way that we look at that, and whether we might actually, in a sense, refresh ourselves on that and see whether, you know, more relevant interpretations are necessary. I mean, as you know, Popley is the ward that I represent, not this part of Popley, by the way, but it's the same area. And the simple facts are very different to some of the rural areas. We obviously have massive parking problems because of 40, 50-year-old estates with totally inadequate parking provision now for what was the concept then. And that is bad enough. And this council is spending millions of pounds seeking to increase that parking provision in a whole range of ways, trying to get some priority list. And in Popley alone, we have got dozens of cul-de-sacs on that list, and every person in those cul-de-sacs would say ours is the worst example and they're all as bad as each other. But here we are in this situation where we, in my view, approving applications of this sort, exacerbate it even further. Because A, we increase the parking requirement, and B, to be frank, we don't really have any absolutely satisfactory way of providing it within the curtilage of the dwelling concerned. So by definition, we cop out on this, and we know what will happen. We know that for convenience, and because nobody wants to be disadvantaged in the way they park their vehicle with the danger of somebody else blocking them in or the like, people leave them out on the road, they fly park them, they put them on grass verges, they put them on all sorts of areas. And when I talk to the local police about it, they say, well, if you want us to spend all of our time actually slapping notices on people we're entitled to do it, we can do that, but that is a nonsense. And this type of application, I think, just adds to really the deterioration of this area in regard to its parking provision, and fundamentally, as I say, changes the character of the area from the sort of family units into something else. And I object to that type of application, and I resist it on this occasion, Chair. Chair, if I may, I mean, obviously I did, I think, make reference to policies E1 and D4, and I argue that there is non-compliance with those policies, and I would argue that this does significantly change the character of the area to an unacceptable degree. I mean, as you rightly point out, Chair, that's my view about the threshold having been reached, and I make that view public on that basis, really. I also would want to add to that, obviously, our concerns about parking provision, really, which we believe to be ineffective and not contained within the curtilage of the dwelling, such that it would give us confidence that those parking spaces would be used in that way, and by definition would exacerbate the general parking concerns that apply in that area. So I think there's a couple of areas there, if I may.